So here we are at our HPV progress number 2. This is where we left off. Cutting out our metal for our main frame, laying it all out and getting it prepped to weld. After getting it all prepped, we tack welded it first to make sure that all of our angles would line up, and then we did the final welding to get the frame put together. At the end of our first manufacturing period, we had completed welding the main frame of our HPV with all the welds completed, not just tacks, and we had started welding together our A-arms for the suspension system. One of the things that we accomplished during our second manufacturing period was drilling out and cutting all of the pivots for our suspension system. We used the lathe to drill out the hole, and then we used the bandsaw to cut them out to the right length, using that nifty little stopper to get them all to be the right length. Then welding all those pivots onto the A-arms like you see there. Tricky little things to do because they're such small pieces of metal, you have to be careful. But they all turned out pretty well, and we have all the pivots welded onto our A-arms. During our presentation for the first manufacturing period, we realized that our design did not allow for the wheels to turn. They would rub into the main frame, so we wouldn't be able to turn very well. So we had to go back to the drawing board and change our plans. So we came up with this sketch here, and working together to find the right angles, we were able to push the wheels forward so they would have clearance, so they wouldn't be hitting the frame. So we cut out the new pieces of metal, adjusting the old ones, and welded them all together. Getting creative because of our mistakes, we had large gaps so we had to fill in using welding rod as well as the MIG wire. But it all turned out pretty well, so we have all of those A-arms cut out now, and they are ready to go on the frame. During this manufacturing period, we started building our frame up into the third dimension, and now we are able to weld all of our A-arms on. The only more vertical building that we have to do for the frame is later when we build the roll cage / vertical supports to keep it from bending. We also started making our steering components, which is very exciting. We're making progress. This is part of the front steering component still being made. There's 2 pieces. Now the outer C will pivot inside of the inner C, allowing the wheels to turn. Now this is the pivots for our rear suspension, which don't need to turn, they just need to have the drive coming through. And the wheels will be attached to those circles, which will have bearings inside. Another exciting thing for us was we finally finished our differential, which took a lot of time. And just for fun, we thought we'd try and give it a weight test and sit on it, and it seemed to work, so it's working great.